Let's quickly start off with what drove the losses today. We're down 0.25%. Last week, it seems that banks were the favorites, and because we had more clarity on AMCON, what drove markets today?
Yeah, looking at the market today, the market indicator actually came down today. Nigerian Stock Exchange Osha Index came down by about 0.26%. The indicator lost about 66.05. What actually responsible for this is because some of the banks, they were actually gaining 5% last week. They came down today. And the likes of Oceanic, Intercontinental Bank, AfriBank, Sterling Bank, all of them came down today. And that's why the index has to go down. Really last week, because Dangote Cement went up, but today the price actually remains stable. It did not change because not up to 50,000 units were actually done on the stock. So the price remains stable. And because of all other big market stocks that actually came down today, like Zenith Bank, Nigerian Breweries, the prices went down today, and that is what pushed down Osha Index for today.
Let's touch on Oando and how this stock fared today. Results for the 9 months to September 2010. Of course, those numbers released last week. Some analysts say that these numbers came in below expectations, even though we did see an increase in turnover. Would you be buying Oando on these levels, given the fact that these numbers perhaps missed analysts' expectations?
Okay, looking at the result of Oando, I don't think it's a bad result. I think it's a good result because looking at the result, we observed that the turnover actually increased by 9.77% from 252.7 billion to 277 billion. I think it's a good one because if we compare the result with other companies in the same sector, we see the likes of Mobile, that the price, the turnover actually came down, and also corn oil, the turnover actually came down. In terms of profitability, yes, Oando profit after taxation actually went up by 30.68, but when we look at a company like Mobile, the profit actually went up by 76.05%. And if we look at corn oil, the profit after taxation actually came down. So looking at the earnings per share, we look at that of Oando, that is still a very good one because the earnings per share comes to about 7.45 right now, and then the PE is still below 10. But if we compare this with Mobile and corn oil, we see that the PE is actually above 10. So to me, I see that the result of Oando is still a very good result. And not that alone, if we look at the financials of Oando very well, we actually observe that the short-term borrowing has actually gone down, and which this one is going to make the company even to be stronger. So looking at the sector, clearly, Oando still remains a leader in that sector. So I would even recommend it to be a buy for my investor now.
Fantastic. What about the rest of the petroleum industry? I mean, we know that there's going to be changes in the regulatory environment when it comes to the petroleum marketing sector, and of course that's going into 2011. There's been a lot of speculation about deregulating the prices of petroleum products. What kind of impact do you think it's going to have on the oil companies in Nigeria?
Yes, if we look at the regulation policy, I don't think that policy is going to come to effect early next year because of the election. The regulation policy has actually witnessed a kind of resistance from the labor union in the past. And because of this, I don't think any government will want to implement that policy now because of election. Otherwise, it's going to generate a kind of reaction that is going to be unpalatable in the sight of government. And also, when we have new government, it's going to take time for them to actually settle down before they can effect the policy of the regulation. Meanwhile, if the regulation is actually put in place, I believe it's going to impact positively in the prices of petroleum marketing sector. But for next year, I don't think that policy coming into being within the first 3 quarters of the year.
Peter, very quickly, your stock picks going forward?
Yeah, just as I said, if you look at Oando, for instance, is a very good stock that one can really buy. So I will also look at other sectors in which I can actually advise investors to look at. Yeah. Like food and beverages is a good one for them to buy. Like flour mix in the food and beverages subsector is a very good one for anybody to actually buy now. Not that alone, we still have some bank stocks that are still good. First Bank is a good one for somebody to buy now.
Yeah.
UBA is good. Zenith also look good, because if you look at the prices of all those stocks now, compared with the kind of results they are releasing, I think they are very good investment.
Fantastic.